Let's talk about the modern day criminals in an industry that brings in billions and billions and yet is completely unregulated. I'm talking about the gambling industry, and this story specifically is about a company called Betfair. I want to take you back to when I was 17 years old, and the legal age to gamble in the UK, in fact in most countries, is 18 years old. And so at 17 there is no way in a million years I should have been allowed to set up an account with one of these companies, and yet here we are telling this story. I've already told a story about another company that allowed me to do this, and this is a new one. I came back from school one day and I logged on to Betfair as a 17-year-old who had no right being on that website, and I signed up for an account, and there was not even an inkling of an ID check, of a verification check, or anything along those lines. I was allowed to deposit and start betting immediately with no further checks required. I deposited my first 20 quid and I placed it on an accumulator, and I won big. I won about £500, which for a 17-year-old is no mean sum of money. But the hooks of addiction got hold of me very early on, and I desperately tried to recreate that feeling, and I deposited that money back in bit by bit before I lost all £500. And then I started depositing my own money, and then I started depositing other people's money, my mum's money, my dad's money. And before I knew it, I'd gone from an innocent £20 bet winning £500 to blasting through all 500 of that money and losing about £400 of my own money. And in this moment I panicked and I had no idea what to do, so I went to my mum and I told her. And after an initial scolding, she said to me, "Hang on a second, you're 17 years old. How on earth were you allowed to sign up for an account? You should not be allowed to be betting." Now, my mum was a major saviour in my story throughout the entirety of my 8-year addiction, but this was the first time she came to my rescue. She got in touch with Betfair and she said that this was illegal. She threatened legal action, she threatened media action. They immediately realised they fucked up, and within a day they came back and said they were going to give back every single penny that I'd lost. They knew they'd screwed up, and the potential implications of this going to the media, of legal action, were so severe that they just paid out and hoped that we would leave it. They shut down my account, and of course as a 17-year-old getting that money back, my mum was happy, I was happy, we just left it. But all these years later, I'm here, I'm online, I'm trying to raise awareness, and so I'm not afraid to name drop. I want to spread awareness. Don't bet with companies like Betfair. I'm just trying to raise awareness for the immoral practices and that they need tighter regulations. There is no way in a million years anyone who is under the age of 18 should be allowed to gamble. And there is no way that these immoral practices that there is an endless list of should be allowed to happen. They need tighter scrutiny, they need tighter regulation, and the government needs to step in. They need to do something. If you've been impacted at all by any of these companies or any of these practices, please drop me a DM. Let's spread awareness. We need to make real change.